Namaste. This is Abhinav from Lighthouse Souls, and I welcome you. This is the part two of this book by Thich Nhat Hanh, The Miracle of Mindfulness. And I will continue my reading from where I left in part one. Now, actually, in this part two, we will be covering chapter two. The chapter two's name is The Miracle is to Walk on Earth, right? So, here basically. Theis talks about Alan, the example that he gave in the earlier chapter. That Alan now what he does is that he considers the time that he spends with his family as his own time, right? But there is also the forgetfulness element that can come in, right? Uh, because see, all of us we are at our various levels, various degrees of our development in mindfulness. So Alan, though he says that he now thinks that he has unlimited time because the time that he's spending with his wife and his son, that all is his own time, but he may forget, right? So Thai says that if he really wants unlimited time, he will have to keep alive the realization that this is my time throughout the time that he's studying with joy, right? So Thai here describes the term mindfulness, what mindfulness means. Thai says, I'll use the term mindfulness to refer to keeping one's consciousness alive to the present reality, right? Then from now on, I'll use the term mindfulness to refer to keep one's consciousness alive to the present reality. Then one must practice right now in one's daily life, not only during meditation sessions. And this is what I have been also telling in my various videos. Uh, this knowledge is that mindfulness is meditation is one subset of mindfulness. Mindfulness is a practice which has to be done on a daily basis from moment to moment. It is what meditation basically does is that it acts like a booster to your effort of maintaining mindfulness throughout the day. It helps you to raise your awareness level throughout the day. That half an hour or 15 minutes or 1 hour that you do meditation in the morning, that helps in that. But mindfulness is being consciously aware of this present reality. Otherwise, what is there is that we are lost. We are in this illusion, and we color everything with our own perceptions, and we lose sight of the reality. So, mindfulness is a concentrated effort of coming back to the reality again and again in every moment to see, as Zen Master Shunryo Suzuki said, to see things as they are, right, and not what our perceptions of things are, right. So Thai says that when you're walking along the path leading to a village, you can practice mindfulness. Walking along a dirt path surrounded by patches of green grass, if you practice mindfulness, you will experience that path, the path leading into the village. You practice by keeping this one thought alive. I'm walking along the path leading to the village. So, whatever I do, if I'm walking, I keep that conscious awareness that I'm walking. But Thai warns us of one thing is that just don't repeat a particular thought like a machine, which is the opposite of mindfulness. So just don't just like repeat, it's not like a mantra that you repeat in your mind, I'm walking, or I'm eating. No, it doesn't like that. It's that conscious awareness of what you are doing right now in this moment, keeping that in your awareness, not letting thoughts and feelings and perceptions, cloud that. Thai says that if we are really engaged in mindfulness while walking along the path, then we will consider the act of each step we take as an infinite wonder. This is what basically I want to capture is that what Thai says is that every step you take or every food, every morsel of food that you eat, that has joy in it. And joy is not in the bigger things in life that we seek. If we are present, if we can enjoy these small joys, we can like these small joys then can become bigger joys. It's like every drop in the ocean when combined together becomes the ocean, right? So we take as infinite wonder, and the joy will open our hearts like a flower, enabling us to enter the world of reality. So now here Thai says, and it is a very often, you very often he's quoted by this. People usually consider walking on water or thin air as a miracle, but I think the real miracle is not to walk either on water or in thin air, but to walk on earth. Every day we are engaged in a miracle which we don't even recognize. A blue sky, white clouds, green leaves, the black, curious eyes of a child, our own two eyes, all is a miracle. Right? How beautiful. And I will like to add the sunshine, especially in the cold days that we are facing right now. Walking in the sunshine is the biggest joy that we can accumulate, that we can experience only if we are in this moment enjoying that sunshine. Okay, sitting. Now the next section is sitting. So Thai says that Zen master Dog Thay says that when sitting in meditation, one should sit upright, giving birth to this thought. Sitting here is like sitting on the Bodhi spot. Bodhi spot is the spot where Lord Buddha sat when he obtained enlightenment. So the every spot wherever I sit in my home, when I sit, I have to sit with this realization that this is the Bodhi spot, right? So Buddha is not somewhere outside. Buddha is Buddha is that pure awareness that we all are, which is inside us. So basically, when I sit with that way, that sacredness, that this is the spot where I am the Buddha and I am getting enlightened, right? So this is should be our way of sitting when we sit. uh, Thai says that this is the spot where Buddhas of all those, if any person can become a Buddha, and the Buddhas are all those countless persons who have obtained enlightenment, then many have sat on the very spot that I sit on now. Sitting on the same spot as a Buddha gives rise to happiness, and sitting in mindfulness means itself to have become a Buddha. What Thai says is, we okay, we cannot become a full-time Buddha, that's fine, but we all have the opportunity to become a part-time Buddha. Every time I bring my attention to my breathing and I breathe consciously, I at that time am the Buddha. There's no difference between me and the Buddha at that time. So we all have the capacity to become part-time Buddhas. So the question next is, but then people don't have time. They don't have time to do all this. They don't have time to walk along the paths of green grass, sit beneath the trees, because they have to do. They have projects to do, consult with neighbors, try to resolve a million difficulties. Now, in all that, might very well ask, then how are we to practice mindfulness? The answer is, Thai's answer is, and very pertinent, and you know, keep your attention focused on the work, be alert and ready to handle ably and intelligently any situation which may arise. This is mindfulness. So it's mindfulness is not something that like you just have to do it in your leisure time. Whatever work that we do, we have to do it with full awareness. We have to be not lost. Otherwise, what we do the work, even our office work, we are lost in, like, maybe tomorrow, yesterday, my boss had said something, so I do all my work with that thing that behind me playing, that my boss said something like this to me, or my colleague did not help me, he should have been helping me more. All those thoughts are running. So what our task is to do everything with a conscious this thing that I am doing this work, right? There is no reason why mindfulness should be different from focusing all our attention to one's work, to be alert and to be using one's best judgment. Now, Thai basically says, it gives an example. Mindfulness, what basically mindfulness does, it brings concentration, right? Our scattered mind, which is like scattered into 1,000 things, with bringing attention back to our breath, our mind, we are able to collect our mind. So here Thai gives an analogy of a magician who cuts his body into many parts and places each part in a different region: hands in the south, arms in the east, legs in the north, and then by some miraculous power lets forth a cry which reassembles the whole, every part of the body. Now, Thai basically says that mindfulness is like that. It is a miracle which can call back in a flash, our dispersed mind and restore it to the wholeness so that we can live each moment of life. And it's so easy. Just we live here in our head, we have to just bring it back to our abdomen. This is the only shift that we need to do to bring everything, collect our mind, and find peace and joy in this present moment, right? And it is completely free, not no cost involved. Right? Next section is taking hold of one's breath. So in this chapter, there has been some elaboration on the importance of breath, right? So now here, see, is important thing what Thai is saying is mindfulness is at the same time a means and an end, a seed and the fruit. Both things. It is means and it is an end in itself, right? It is the seed as well as the fruit. When we practice mindfulness in order to build up concentration, mindfulness is a seed, but mindfulness itself is the life of awareness. The presence of mindfulness means the presence of life, and the mindfulness is also the fruit. Mindfulness frees us of forgetfulness and dispersion and makes it possible to live fully each minute of life. Mindfulness enables us to live, right? Otherwise, we are not living, we are just existing, right? So, mindfulness is a means in the way that it helps us enter into a state where we are living. At the same time, mindfulness is the end because that mindful state is the state where we are actually living and we all want to live, right? Okay. You should know how to breathe to maintain mindfulness and breathing. So here Thai talks about breathing, the importance of breathing. Breathing is a bridge which connects life to consciousness, which unites your body to your thoughts. Whenever your mind becomes scattered, use your breath as the means to take hold of your mind again. Again, through your breathing, we have to bring our mind, collect our mind, whatever, through anxiety, fear, negative emotions, the mind gets dispersed into various pieces. We have to collect again. This becomes our practice, and it's a very, very simple and focused practice. There are no, so what, this is my perception, this is my view. There are no 100 steps that you need to travel in mindfulness. Mindfulness is always bringing you back to the breathing, right? Breathe lightly, breathe in lightly, a fairly long breath, conscious of the fact that you're inhaling. Now breathe out all the breath in your lungs, remaining conscious the whole time of the exhalation. The whole flow of the breath, when I breathe and there is this gap and then I exhale. There is an inhale and then an exhale. I have to be aware of the whole consciously the whole of this flow of the breath, inhalation and the exhalation, and again the inhalation. The Sutra on Mindfulness teaches us the method to take hold of the breath. Be ever mindful you breathe in and mindful you breathe out. Breathing in a long breath, you know I am breathing in a long breath. Breathing out a long breath, you know I am breathing out a long breath. Breathing in a short breath, I know I am breathing in a short breath. So I am not making any judgment that this is a short breath or this is a long breath. No, I'm just aware that this is a short breath I'm breathing or this is a long breath I'm breathing. Or if I'm not sure on which kind of breath it is, I am even aware that I cannot at this moment make any judgment whether it's a short breath or a long breath. I have to just be aware, right? In the Buddhist monasteries, everyone learns to use breath as a tool to stop mental dispersion and to build up concentration power. Concentration power is the strength which comes from practicing mindfulness. So the flow is mindfulness. Mindfulness develops concentration, which is the mind gets collected and sharp and to the pointed, and that brings insight, which is called in Hindi vipassana, which is the insight which allows you to look deeply at things, which allows you to see the real nature of things. This is the flow: mindfulness, concentration, insight. It is the concentration which can help one obtain the great awakening. I'll again say the words so beautiful. It is the concentration which can help one obtain the great awakening. When the worker takes hold of his breath, he has already become awakened. So, we think of awakening as a journey that we need to travel various lifetimes. When we awaken, when we become consciousness of this breath right now, we are awakened, right? But since the awakening is not established so firmly in us, we again go back to our mind and the patterns. So the task is again come back to the moment by using our breath. In order to maintain mindfulness through a long period, we must continue to watch our breath. Now, I use sometimes I use Eckhart because I also do book reviews of Eckhart. Okay, now Thai says that now a very practical thing he says is that it is very easy when you are alone, all by yourself. There is green grass and there is country path, and there is nothing much to do. Then you can maintain mindfulness, but it becomes a little difficult when you have a friend by your side, and till the time the friend is not talking, he is also maintaining mindfulness. Till then, it is easy. But the moment he starts talking, then it becomes a bit difficult because his chatter starts and then your internal chatter also starts. At least one chatter will be that at least God, please keep him, allow him to stop talking, make him to stop talking because I want to practice mindfulness. That is wrong approach, right? That is wrong approach. So Thai says, you may be thinking, I wish this fellow would quit talking so that I could concentrate. But when you think this, you already lost your mindfulness. But if you think instead, if he wishes to talk, I will answer, but I'll continue in mindfulness, aware of the fact that we are walking along this path together, aware of what we say, I continue to watch my breath as well. If this is something that you have in you when he's talking, then you are maintaining mindfulness. So that is why actually Thai says very kind of a pertinent thing. Hardest of all is to practice the way at home. सबसे the most difficult is to practice mindfulness at home. Second is the crowd. Second is difficulty is the crowd, and the most easiest is in the pagoda, in the ashram, right? It is only in an active and demanding situation that the mindfulness really becomes a challenge. And in this life, when we have not chosen a birth of a monk, one way to look it as down that we are not eligible or something. I look it at as that God or the higher awareness has chosen us to be born in this setting of being in a family, which allows us a more challenging situation to practice our mindfulness in a much better way, and much more resolute way. So we can pat ourselves on our back. So if in a pagoda, definitely in a monastery it is easy, because everyone is working to. But here when we are on a family setting, not everyone in our family may be practicing mindfulness. If they do, then very good. But challenge is a bit stronger. So pat on our back that we have chosen this challenge. Counting one's breath. So again, there are just some steps that Thai has given. One, Thai has explained about that diaphragmatic breathing, that we should breathe from our stomach. Our belly, our navel should should expand and contract, not our lungs. That is the right way of the breathing, right? So that is one thing. So for beginners, what Thai says that lying down to practice breathing is very helpful. That if you want to do it lying down, then it can be helpful, uh, right? So you can just start counting your breath. So it's like I am breathing in, I can count one mentally, two, three, and then I start counting exhalation one, two, three in my mind. So this you can do, and you can, now the more you practice this, the more that the count increases. So your inhalation count was like till three. The more you practice it in your meditation, it may become till six, seven, right? And then this you have to continue not only in meditation but in your day-to-day work also. Continue to measure your breath while walking, sitting, standing, especially when you're outdoors. While walking, you may use the steps to measure your breath. After a month or so, the difference between the length of your exhalation and inhalation will lessen, gradually evening out unless they are of, until they are of equal measure. Now, Thai says that if you feel tired while doing this, then stop. Do not overexert. But if you don't, but even if you do not feel tired, don't prolong the practice of long equal breaths. Like at the most, you should do it only 10 to 20 breaths, right? And the moment you feel the least fatigue, return to your normal breathing. Fatigue is an excellent mechanism of our bodies and the best advisor as to whether one should rest or continue. Okay. Okay. Counting your breath. So counting your breath is a very good way where basically you count in and count out. So I count in 1, 2. Inhalation is 1, exhalation is 2. Or one inhalation and exhalation round is 1, and then I count to 2, and then I count till 10, and then I bring my count back to 1. Now, if I missed one thing, I have to again start from 1. So, here actually, I will suggest in the insight timer, there is a very good meditation that I used to practice a lot before. Now, I do the simple Anapansati, but the Zen counting the breath meditation, you can find it in Insight Timer. I really loved that meditation, and the voice was also so soothing. So you can all try that in that Insight Timer app. That a meditation will be available. Taking home hold of one's breath itself is mindfulness. Your breath is the wondrous method of taking hold of your consciousness. Okay. Now here Thai says that every act is a right. Right means like it's like a kind of a sacred thing. So Thai says that every act is a right. Now Thai says that if you do proper breathing, that will create endless vitality in you. Breath builds up the lungs, strengthens the blood, revitalizes every organ of the body. They say, and this is so true, breathing is more important than food, because lot of the prana, the life force that we get is, food. The problem with food is that now we don't get that quality of food that we used to get it like maybe many years ago. Now it's all laced with pesticides and everything. And you see people who fast, like you, who eat only once in a day, and they are much more active. Where from they are getting all that energy? The problem with food is that lot of energy is taken to digest it, and especially if you eat heavy meals, then you will feel lethargic because lot of energy the body has to spend on digesting the food. That's why I remember in my interactions with Sean and right, he always suggested me that it's advisable to eat less, because then you spare the body for the deeper work, right? Even like especially during the meditation, if you are doing some meditation practice and all, advisable to eat less, not that less that you uh, kind of constrict your body from getting the right nutrients, but try to eat less. That and do proper breathing, because through your breath you can get a lot of energy. Breath is tool, breath itself is mindfulness. The use of breath as a tool may help one obtain immense benefits, but these cannot be considered as ends. These benefits are only the byproducts of the realization. So, the main benefit is mindfulness when you use the breath. All other things, vitality and good health and everything, Thai also gives his own example that once years ago he was extremely ill and he took all the medicines, his condition did not improve, and he turned toward the method of breathing, and thanks to that, he was able to heal himself. Right? So Thai again says that while washing dishes, you might be thinking about the tea, and so try to get out of the way to set and drink tea. But that means you're incapable of living during the time you're washing the dishes. When you're washing the dishes must be the most important thing in your life. When you're using the toilet, let that be the most important thing in your life. Chopping wood is meditation, carrying water is meditation. Be mindful 24 hours a day, not just the 1 hour that you may allot to the formal meditation or reading scriptures. The end, Thai says, every act is a rite, a ceremony. Raising your cup of tea to your mouth is a ceremony in itself. Now, Thai ends it, and he ends every chapter, very beautifully. He says, does the word rite seems too solemn? I use that word in order to jolt you into the realization of the life and death matter of awareness. So, Thai wants to jolt us to the realization that it is not a small thing. Practicing awareness on a moment to moment basis is a matter of life and death. Now that you have reached here and you're listening to this, we are all in this journey, and we have to need to jolt ourselves and shrug off whatever has happened in our life till now. Now we have to keep that thing that I determine to be mindful throughout the day. And once we take hold of that mindfulness, no, like there is a noble eightfold path: right living, right diligence, right livelihood. All that is taken care, right speech, right view, if we are able to maintain mindfulness in our day, and we have to strengthen it. It will happen slowly and gradually. So that's it, enough. I think has become a long video. So next we will cover chapter 3, which is a day of mindfulness. So thank you so much for watching or listening. Thank you so much. God bless you, and see you again next time. Thank you.